Numerous distractions threaten our control and focus, making it difficult to achieve a state of flow. Now, flow in simple terms is when we're at our absolute best. It's a mental state where we become incredibly effective and efficient. Think of it as getting in the zone, where everything else fades away and you are laser focused on a single task, an idea, or a goal. But achieving flow isn't as simple as deciding to concentrate. You need control and structure. One key element is breaking down your goals into smaller, manageable pieces, because without this, you risk becoming overwhelmed and stressed, and emotions will be all over the place, and ultimately just you'll be a mess. You're likely swamped with projects and deadlines, emails and targets. Everything feels urgent, like it needed to be done yesterday. You're maybe constantly jumping from one task to another. How often do you manage to get into that flow state? You might think it's a fairy tale, but there is psychological and neuroscientific research backing the concept of flow and its effectiveness. The reason you might struggle to get into a flow state is that the never-ending stream of urgent tasks and deadlines is blocking you and sabotaging your performance. Take a moment to think about your weekly priority list. How often does it change? What about your daily schedule? Is it a chaotic whirlwind of tasks? How about an hour or even just 30 minutes? More than likely, you can maintain intense focus for around a 30-minute stretch. So let's work with that. Create a focus bubble. Set a timer for 30 minutes and commit to focusing solely on that task at hand during that time. If any distractions or other thoughts arise, jot them down on your to-do list for later. Right now, your world should revolve around that one task. After the timer goes off, you can step back and exit your tunnel vision. The key to this focus bubble technique is commitment. Set yourself, I'm going to accomplish this, and nothing will get in my way or distract me. You're in control, not notifications or distractions. This technique empowers you, allowing you to master your own focus. When emotions become overwhelming, break the task down even further. Keep breaking it down until you feel calm and focused. It doesn't matter if it's half a step at a time. Your optimal pace is what matters right now. Remember the Navy SEALs wisdom. Slow is smooth, smooth is fast. The flow state is not about intensity, it's a marathon. If you have a specific target, going full throttle isn't necessarily efficient. It drives your stress and emotions through the roof, hindering optimal focus. Sure, you might complete a project, but if it's done poorly, you'll have to revisit it, wasting valuable time and resources. In financial terms, rushing through a trade could lead to substantial losses. This in turn will leave you even more frustrated, and it may take several more successful trades to recoup your losses. First things first. Let's remember the plan. When you've got a goal in mind, you need a roadmap to get there. It's like setting a GPS destination on a roadmap. You don't just hit the road and hope to stumble upon your destination. You plan it out. Now, once you've got your plan, you've got to stick to it. That's where discipline comes in. Think of it as a game of chess. You make your move based on a strategy and stick to it, no matter what shiny distractions come your way. Now, speaking of strategy, it is your secret weapon. It's your battle plan, your playbook. If you're in a war, you don't charge into the enemy lines without a strategy. The same goes for your goals. Have a clear strategy and it will keep you on track. Now let's dive into the concept of being a bit like a robot. It might sound a bit strange, but here's the deal. Some tasks are repetitive and they don't need your emotions interfering. Think about it like a vending machine. You press a button and it delivers what you want every single time. There's no mood swings and there's no distractions. The reason you want to be robotic with certain tasks is to minimize errors. Humans, well, we're not perfect. We can get tired and distracted or emotional. And when it comes to tasks that require precision, like a surgeon performing surgery, you don't want emotions to get in the way. Instead of manually sorting through every single email, you can set up filters to organize them for you. It is efficient, it's accurate, and it frees up time so that you can focus on other tasks that truly need your brain power. Now, why should you automate? or be a robot? Well, the simple answer is just efficiency. Imagine you're on an assembly line putting together a product. Each step is precise and repetitive. You don't want your emotions to slow you down or mess up the product. You want to churn out that product as quickly and as accurately as possible. Automation is like having a safety net. It ensures you stick to your plan and strategy, reducing the chances of human error. It is like a professional athlete with a coach in their ear, guiding their every single move. It keeps you on track, it keeps you focused, and most importantly, it keeps you efficient. And speaking of efficiency, when you automate or act like a robot for the right tasks, you save time and energy. You can repeat the process over and over without getting mentally drained or making silly mistakes. Think of it like a bartender making a classic cocktail. They've got a recipe and they follow it step by step, no deviations. That's how you get a perfect drink every single time. All right, we're talking about getting into the zone with the flow state, and now I want to talk about Parkinson's law. This is a great technique to use for time management, and it's simpler than you might think. Parkinson's law is all about setting a deadline for yourself. It's like telling yourself, I'm going to finish this task in X amount of time. It's a bit like a challenge, and humans are pretty good at rising to challenges. When you give yourself a specific time frame to complete something, more often than not, you'll wrap it up in that time or even faster. It is like a little mind game you play with yourself. Think about it like racing against the clock. When you've got a timer ticking, you become hyper-focused, and it's like a supercharger for your productivity. Imagine you've got a report to write. If you just say, I'll work on it until it's done, you might end up dragging it for hours, procrastinating and getting distracted by cat videos on the internet. But if you say, I'll finish this report in 90 minutes, suddenly you've set a clear boundary for yourself. Your brain goes, all right, 90 minutes, let's go. You've got to cut the fluff. You ignore those cat videos and you dive right into your work. It's like a turbo boost for your focus and efficiency. The key here is that it's not about being rushed or stressed. It's about setting a smart and realistic deadline. You know yourself and your work pace better than anyone. So pick a time frame that is challenging but doable. Think of it like this. If you have a plane to catch, you don't mess around. You don't wander the airport shops casually sipping coffee and hoping to make your flight eventually. You hustle because you've got a deadline. That departure time. Same principle applies to tasks. Now, this isn't about cutting corners or delivering subpar work. It is about maximizing your efficiency and output. When you're racing against that self-imposed clock, you're like a high-performance athlete in the final stretch of a race. You give it your all. Parkinson's law is about taking control of your time and making it work for you. It's like being the director of your own movie. You set the scene, the pace, and the ending. No more drifting aimlessly through endless tasks, unsure of when or how they'll finish. This concept also helps you avoid analysis paralysis. You know, when you spend an eternity thinking about what to do and how to do it, but never actually getting started, with a clear deadline, you cut through that confusion and get straight to work. It's pretty amazing how your brain responds to the pressure of a deadline. It's like it wakes up and says, let's do this. You tap into your inner productivity powerhouse, and suddenly tasks that used to take forever become more manageable. So give it a shot. Set those deadlines, challenge yourself, and watch how you become more efficient and focused and more in control of your tasks. That's all from me. I hope you enjoyed it, and we'll talk again in the next one.